Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Another week, another edition of the show. This week, I have Will Romeo from the awesome band Neckscars. We are already figured out we got a lot in common, so this should be a fairly flowable episode. But you never know; some people can just turn out to be duds, but I don't think it's going to happen. But welcome to the show, Will.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad this is working out this time. I know I totally shit the bed last time.
Yeah, that's all right. See, I mean, we talked about duds. I mean, any dudded out.
I completely dudded. I was like, oh my God, I just missed that. I'm so sorry.
No, listen, the whole thing is once you get together and do it, all I look at is, I had to stay at my record store a little too long that night. That's fine. And listen to music and then rage drink and get angry. But whatever. I mean, that's in the past. So why don't we start off real quick? I mean, I mentioned the band Neckscars. Why don't you give us a little quick history so the listeners know how this all came about and what you're up to now?
So years ago, I had a band called Game Day Regulars, and we were banned for like maybe 6-7 years, maybe a little longer. But once that disbanded with some of the members right before COVID, me and my buddy Craig were talking about starting something kind of similar, but something a little different. We're kind of like more of Neckscars is definitely more of like a kind of like more of a hot water music, kind of like punk rock band. I want to do something a little different, but still kind of similar. So me and Craig who used to be in Neckscars, Craig Sala. We put this band together, and then I got Colin, who used to be in Game Day, and Justin used to be in Game Day, and it just kind of all worked out because we're all kind of like living in the same area, so we're practicing like really close. And then COVID hit in the middle of recording our first record, and that's how that happened. That was like 2000, I think, end of 2019. So we've been going on like 6 years as a band now. Only members that have been swapped out is we've had like several drummers.
Yeah, we're hard to get along with.
Yeah. But like, Craig's still like one of my close friends, and like, he's, if we need him to fill in, he'll play with us. But we lost our drummer after the recording of this new record that we just did. And so right now Kevin from this band called Tired Radio has been playing with us.
Yeah.
And
I know Anthony.
Really great. So we're doing some shows in Canada in a couple of weeks, and he's on board coming along with us, and he's playing Fest with us this year. So pretty stoked. And he's like one of our good friends. So it's he's awesome drummer. It's pretty easy transition. So, but the band is based out of, like, I live in the Bronx, but the guys live in like the Hudson Valley, Westchester County. Like Justin's in Beacon, New York, and Colin lives in Westchester. I live in the Bronx, and Kevin lives in Brooklyn.
Nice. So I have to, like, on your most recent single that just released, for those who don't know, Dancing in the Stars, it was, if you don't mind me saying, and speaking my mind on it, I loved it, and it reminded me of, and I hate comparisons, but it's comparisons of things that I love, so I'm going to do it anyway. It sounded like Teenage Fan Club meets Sugar. Like, and it was...
Thank you for saying it. Everyone has said the Foo Fighters.
Really?
Yeah, I guess there's some like undertones in some of the chords, but yeah. When we were, that song was like, I had an idea. We went up to like a music retreat house to write this record in the beginning of 2020, I think 4, and in Ithaca, New York. And Justin had these like chords, and I had similar chords, and that just worked into that song. But I was like, the vibe I was feeling was like a Lemonheads, like Sugar. I mean, who's gonna do Sugar? Bob Mold's like, yeah. It's like kind of where I exist. And yeah, but that was like the vibe. I was thinking, I'm like, this has to feel like the Angus soundtrack. Yeah. And that's, I think, what I think we accomplished it. And we had our buddy do this video, and I'm like, make it seem like we're on mushrooms. So he's like, no problem at all. My buddy Kenny, he was in Game Day. He started Game Day with me, and he plays in a really rad, like, soft wave electronic band called they're called Soft Faith. Okay. They're awesome.
All right, so I'm glad I kind of nailed it with where I was on the song, but it's everything that came previously I really enjoyed, and then when this track dropped last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess now, I was like, I was like, there's some pop sensibilities to this, and when I say pop, it's the power pop. It's the distorted guitar and the subtle vocals that are just, you never have to worry about it because it's not going to go out of range. It's not going to hurt your ears at any point, and that's why power pop is. I'm like, I always like leaned into that, as I called it, the power pop, the Husker Du's, the Sugars, the Lemonheads, Teenage Fan Club, Posies, things like that. That's where I always kind of had my honey hole for music.
That's great. That's I think any of the newer bands that are kind of bringing back the 90s in a good way. And there's a lot of them, especially a lot of them that play Fest. There are a lot of them that are really doing this fuzzy kind of big guitar sound thing that I really love. So whenever I hear a band like that, I'm like, that band rules.
Yeah, and I think in the past maybe 15 years, I mean, anything that had that fuzzy guitar tone, you would have a voice that just wasn't good for it. And, I think things have to work cohesively a lot of times too, like where if you're creating something beautiful musically, you should also have a beautiful voice to it. That's just, my old man fucking ways of thinking about music.
I agree with you. I definitely I think the production of this record was like we definitely like we have like a lot of acoustic guitars all over it, kind of like doing that you know, like Sugar would do that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely that. And we tried different things, not to mention this record, like I started the band and like I had a lot of the first record was a lot of songs I brought to the table, but this one we all brought like a quarter of the riffs and the songs to the table. So it was like a really collaborative effort. Like, and like I wrote all the lyrics, but I definitely like there were points in the time where we talked about lyrics and stuff. So the process was very different and it sounds very different because I sent it to you, but if you heard it, it's definitely like all over the place. We got like a country song on there and there's like a song that sounds like Strung Out. So it's kind of wild.
And when you bring out Strung Out, one of my favorite punk bands that was like faster than anybody else, and it still sounded amazing, even though half the time it was hard to like follow along with it.
Yeah. Did you grow up listening to a lot of that like 90s Fat stuff and like Epitaph stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, that was my intro to punk rock. Face to Face, I think was like the band that was like I really like think I have a place for playing music my whole life. Like Green Day was like definitely the intro and then finding out all about the smaller bands after that, but definitely like Face to Face.
Face to Face is my number 1 or number 2 band of all time. So you're speaking my language. That is I always, when people ask me, I'm like, yeah, it's Face to Face or the Posies, like, but it depends on what day it is. But those are 1 and 2. 1A and 1B, and they interchange all the time for my bands that I just can't ever live without.
Did you like what's your least favorite Face to Face record?
My least favorite is probably their self-titled.
The self-titled.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite?
My favorite is definitely Don't Turn Away, because that was my introduction. And then, yeah, definitely 100% Don't Turn Away, because I can still put it on every single day and not get sick of it. Big Choice was great. I think that the Unheralded album, are you going to go with Ignorance is Bliss as your least favorite? Because that's
actually my favorite.
Okay, yeah, because I love it, and I've had conversations with Trevor about what I think transpired during the recording of that and why people started shitting on it. I said you guys were recording standards and practices, and you were doing a lot of like new wave covers, so it had that kind of sound to it, and a lot of people who were looking for it. And I say so I've told the story before here, but the self-titled one, because I actually threw that out on I-95, the CD, the day I bought it. I was driving, listening to it, and I threw it out on the I-95.
Oh, man. So Big Choice was like definitely like when I heard the self-titled, I really liked it because it just sounded so much better, and it definitely well,
it was definitely produced. That was on A&M, right?
Yeah,
it
sounded better. I mean, I think the only record I could say I don't really enjoy is the 3 chords and a half truth one, and that was kind of probably my least favorite, but it's not bad.
Yeah,
I just don't think that I don't think the band's capable of making any terrible songs.
No, I mean, and I think the Unheralded one that I've like played for people a lot that I don't think people really maybe took the time was Protection. I thought when that album was, I was like, this is almost exactly Don't Turn Away and Big Choice. Like, it was so fucking good, and it was one of those. Yeah, it was like one of those things where it was like almost, when you're like, oh my God, they're back. It was kind of like when Metallica came out with Hardwired, and I was like, oh God, they're back. This is great.
Yeah, Bill Stevenson did that one at the Blasting Room. So that was kind of like it was a kind of like a really great production overall. I think but I'm sure there's not really much producing with that band, because it seems like those guys are all producers in their own self. They kind of probably know what they want to. I don't know any of those guys, but I can assume when doing it that long, they probably know what they want. They know how it's going to sound like.
Yeah. So I want to dive into your personal life through music, and it usually starts when you're a kid, and some people grow up in a musical household where music is on in the background. Some people grow up with no music and find it through church. Like there's a lot of different ways. And, is there a moment in your life that you kind of like remember as a child where you heard something for the first time and it kind of piqued your interest? Mine was the Beach Boys, and at 6 years old, and my life changed forever. Like, do you kind of remember hearing something that changed your brought your interest as a child to music?
Yeah, I can say probably the first time I really thought something was super rad was, and my dad grew up like he liked a lot of like doo-wop and stuff. He's from the Bronx, and my mom was always like super into she was super like encouraging with music. She's like, oh yeah, she got us like guitars. Like I didn't like when I was a kid. She's like, you should take lessons and learn this. She wanted that to be a part of like me and my brother's life. But definitely the first time, I remember I was like probably 6 years old. I was at my buddy Ronnie's house, my neighbor, and his parents, and they were a little younger than mine, but it was definitely Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen. And I was like, wow, this is great. And I was blown away. I was like blown away, and I was like, and then years passed, and then like super when had MTV and to see all those videos, but definitely like Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty, hearing that stuff at my friend's parents' house on their stereo was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that rock. And I mean, Born in the USA, the reason why Steve Van Zandt left the band, left Springsteen. But yeah, I mean, and being a Jersey boy, it's the whole Bruce. Oh man, I tell people when you're born, they just hand you a Bruce CD. Like you leave the hospital with a Springsteen CD.
Yeah, my whole thing is don't trust anybody that doesn't like Bruce.
Well, then don't trust me, because there's some things that I enjoy and other things. Well, this is how I used to categorize Springsteen. I mean, being born in the 70s, growing up in the 80s and 90s, Bruce wasn't writing songs for me. Yeah. Right. So I really never attached to it. And, once you get into where I am now, my very late, as late as you can get 40s. And I'm like, okay, I understand it now. But as a teenager or kid, I was like, this is not. I literally had a conversation the other day where I was like, I don't know. I think it's the saxophone. I'm like, great sax player, but I just like want rock songs.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But Beach Boys, is that, would you say it's like your favorite?
Yeah. I mean, I still listen to the Beach Boys like constantly. It was, I remember the moment specifically. Like, and I tell people on the Garden State Parkway, back of a 78 brown Oldsmobile, CBS 101.1, Cousin Brucey.
Yep, Cousin Brucey, that was big.
Yeah, and Little Surfer comes on the radio. And fuck, I just started screaming from the back, play it again, play it again. Couldn't. And then, for Christmas, my parents got me, I still have the cassette. It doesn't work anymore, but little orange labeled Beach Boys Greatest Hits. And that was it. I was on my way, and music has consumed me ever since.
Yeah, my parents had a CD like subscription, and they had the one with Kokomo.
Stamos playing the drums.
And the funny thing is, so my wife, her favorite band of all time is the Beach Boys. She's still like really upset over Brian Wilson. We actually, just to mourn, we went out to the PNC Arts Center a couple weeks ago to see the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
And I never saw them before. Craig, who used to be in Neckscars, has seen them like almost 200 times.
Yeah.
That's his favorite. He even has all their faces tattooed on him. And like he's like a huge Beach Boys. I'm going next Friday to Cape Cod to see Al Jardine with my wife.
Nice.
So I'm stoked, but I guess it was later in life I really got to really appreciate and realize that the Beach Boys paved the way for a lot of great music and done things that no one has ever done.
Yeah, and I think the big thing about them is they were always fun music. Like even their sad ballads were fun. Like you can't not be happy listening to the Beach Boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really and the vocal stuff is just, even like hearing like the version, the Beach Boys like with Stamos last week. I know it's not going to see Brian Wilson, and it was pretty incredible to watch. Like these guys all can sing. Everyone in that band can sing. even if they're not like original members or they're hired guns, they all can sing. It was pretty awesome to watch.
That's awesome. So, okay, so you go to your neighbor's house, you hear the Tom Petty and the Bruce Springsteen. Where does your next, I guess, epiphany about music, usually in your early, maybe 11, 12, going into your teens, you start to find something. What was your next step towards finding more music?
So I had this buddy that I used to hang out with, and his dad was in a band, and I was definitely like 11 or 12, and it was definitely the metal, like Megadeth, those Metallica, even like AC/DC, like Pantera. And it was awesome because his stepdad was like super into music. So he had a bass guitar in the bedroom, and we just played all these records, and it was awesome. But the thing is, I gravitated more towards punk because I couldn't play any of that stuff. So when I was like, oh, I could do this Green Day song and this Nirvana song, I couldn't play those. I can't play Dimebag Darrell riffs. Like
no, yeah, it was 3 chords.
I felt so much more connected but I still to this day like I love like thrash metal and all that stuff, and I can play a little bit now as before, but it's definitely like my friends' parents were the ones that had all the cool music, and my parents are like a little. My parents are like, they're in their late 70s now. My friends, they had kids younger, so they were like younger. My friend's dad was definitely like in his like 30s, and was definitely playing in some bar metal band in the Bronx, and like had long hair, and he was kind of like a hard dude, scary too.
Well, you bring up like Green Day, Nirvana, and I don't know how often I have to say it. Like musically, it was just okay, but their biggest thing that they did was, and I don't think their credit that they should get for it is they made it accessible to people. They made it accessible for like you and I to watch it and be like, oh, I can do that. I can't do those fucking guitar licks and fucking have long hair and put makeup on and wear spandex and do these amazing fucking solos, but I can do that. And I think that's where I think they don't get enough credit for creating so many musicians just because of what they did in that aspect. The music to me was always secondary. It was, wow, they showed me that I can do that as well.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was like you didn't even have to like go to guitar lessons. You could like just you remember the tab books?
Yeah.
And the tab sheet. So you could like go to like the record stores that had that section, and you could be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick up Dookie, this whole album of it, and you didn't even have to learn how to read the music. You could just play it from the tabs, and it's kind of how I learned how to play guitar. And then I went to lessons after that because I hated guitar lessons. First off, it was always like Mel Bay Book 1, like Ode to Joy, and my friends are like buying Guitar World, and like they're playing like they're playing Mother by Danzig, and I'm like, I'm just like, what am I doing wrong here?
So when did you first pick up an instrument?
I got a guitar at like 12, but I think I really got like super into it in high school. When I went to like private school, I went to school on Fordham University's campus called Fordham Prep. And it was definitely like it was definitely people from like all over like Westchester County and the city and stuff. So it was like definitely you met so many different people, and they were like the punk rock kids and the metal kids. So I gravitated towards them. So I'd say like 14, I started getting like serious and like, oh, I wanted to do that.
Now, when you did that, and the first thing, did you seek out other like-minded people to start a band right away? Because that's usually around that age, and I always look at it as like you spend more time coming up with a logo and a band name than you ever did playing a song with anybody. But
yeah, I definitely it kind of my buddy Dom, who's like a year older than me, he wanted to start a band, but he played guitar, and we had another kid, and this kid Rich, that he was the drummer, and the only way I could be in the band was if I played bass. So my parents took me down to and I already knew how to play guitar, so just following the root notes was kind of like, I guess I could do this. And I went to Sam Ash down on like in Manhattan, and I got like a Mexican jazz bass, Fender Mexican made jazz bass. It was like $299. It's like crazy. They're like $1,000 now if you buy them new. And I was like, all right. And then there was this like ad up in like the penny pincher. And my mom saw, I was like, oh, there's a guy selling a bass amp. So he took me to this guy that was in like this like youth ministry church band. And for $100, he sold me like a Gorilla bass amp. Remember Gorilla?
Yeah.
Sold me a Gorilla bass amp. And I used that until it starts. It was smelling really weird one day. And then when it stopped working.
It fried. Yeah. So what was the name of that band? It's kind of, because it kind of sounds like your first band ever. So what was the name?
Catatonics.
Catatonics. Wow.
Yeah.
It's not bad. We've had some really horrible first band names here. So
yeah, it was funny though. There was this guy in the neighborhood. His name was Fish, and
of course it was.
And my friend's father, who I was actually in a band with, he owned the Bronx Times Reporter, and he came into the recording studio. We were recording at this place, Music Unlimited, in my neighborhood. Awful recording. Like, you know, the guy just did. You could tell the engineer didn't care. He put chorus on the bass. They recorded the guitars full stack 5150s, but we didn't know. My friend's like, oh, you just got to put this Boss DS1 distortion box on it, and then he just recorded us. And then, but this guy came in and he like was like, you guys are great. It's like punk. And then he came to see us at my high school Battle of the Bands and wrote an article about us. And we sold out of all the tapes we duped up, and we felt like a big deal for like a week.
So was that so Battle of the Bands? I'm guessing you had to have performed prior to that Battle of the Bands.
One time before I performed, we had like a school assembly, and we played Disconnected by Face to Face and one of our songs.
Of course, Disconnected.
Yeah. And it was hilarious. And then I was like so amped, and I got on stage, and at the end of it, I was like, punk's not dead. Because I went to school with a bunch of like Dave Matthews type of kids. And they broke my chops for a good like 2 weeks, these older kids yelling at me that in the hallway. And I'm like, I felt like such a tool. But yeah, that's but the one there was we used to have these like school dances at Fordham Prep, and sometimes there was they had bands play, and there was this really cool band from Westchester County, from like Yonkers, and they were like legit, like, and they were a high school band, but they were called the Walters, and they were just like 3-chord punk. They were really good, and I think they were in a band after that called The Band. Kind of did some stuff, but they had a 7-inch live recorded at CBGB's. It was I still have it, and I forgot they covered an Angry Samoan song, a Yuppie Side song, and one of their songs. But I think that seeing them play was like, I can definitely do this. Like, that was it. And like, I credit that band to this day of like pushing me to do it, pushing me to like really want to do it. I mean, like I almost failed out of my first year of private school because I was going to Coney Island High all the time on a Monday, going to see like bands play down in St. Mark's Place. It was definitely, it consumed me.
Yeah. You were in the city, so that was much easier, but I mean, was 35 minutes outside the city, but we would go all the fucking time to shows everywhere. Like, that was my high school. Like, all my friends were older, so they would drive, and then when I could drive, I was driving the younger kids. It was just like, music was like, you get to see this stuff, you know, like seeing Fugazi for the first time, and you know, I always go back to one of the best shows ever. It was fucking Seaweed, Green Day, and Bad Religion. I remember seeing that before Dookie came out, and like going to see all these shows that like you didn't realize later in life, like how fucking crazy it is that you got to see all these fucking bands in these small venues, and like that would just go on to greatness. Seeing Rage Against the Machine at Roseland Ballroom for fucking $12, you know, Tool,
100%.
Roseland, you know. And
as I got older, and was able to drive, like I got connected with like the Jersey scene, and it was awesome because there was so many, like, was it Bomb Shelter? The shows, there was like Bomb Shelter shows out there. those hall shows at like the Wayne
Yeah,
Firehouse,
the Wayne Firehouse, the Skaters World,
Skaters World.
yeah,
Um,
a Butler Firehouse, the Masonic Temple in Ridgewood. Like,
I saw so many shows there. Like it was definitely like, what was that band? They were like one of the first Jersey bands I saw. Like, and I really liked them. Lane Meyer.
Yeah, Lane Meyer.
And like Humble Beginnings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was because they were kind of doing that fat thing, that skate punk fat thing, and it was awesome. Like, oh, there's like bands in the local that are sounding like this. Another band I used to punish the hell out of, Cooter, Autopilot Off.
Yeah. Yep. I have both versions.
Oh, you have the go-kart,
Yeah,
Cooter, and the Autopilot.
Yep.
Yeah, I am whatchamacallit, I have one of them. And I know I had another thing that they did. I think someone took it though. That was one of our that, and it's funny, we record all our song our records with John Niclario, who was in he was in Member Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, but it's like crazy that was so long ago.
Yeah, so long ago to be young again, right?
Next stop's 50 for me.
Yeah, me too. So so from making the pivotal mistake of yelling "Punk's not dead," from there and moving forward, was it all, was it full steam ahead? Like, this is now, I know that this is what I truly have to have in my life for the rest of my life, or was there like breaks in between?
You know what? I think what really was, went to college and I immediately started a band with a buddy in college. I think it was until like I hit 20 and I was playing in a couple bands, and it was definitely like consuming more of my time but then I started a band with my buddies because we were going to so many shows, and we were like, let's try to do this. And we were like older, and like, let's like, 20, like in college or whatever, let's try to do this like whole like DIY touring thing. And we had this band called Your Day Strong, kind of like we kind of sounded like Grade.
Love Grade, very heralded band.
Yeah, and or like, remember that band? It was definitely like what was that band? Glass Eater.
Yeah,
yeah, like kind of that stuff, and definitely had a Hot Water Music influence. That was always a big band for us, and we then we started like, we were like, oh yeah, we could book your own tours, and like we started playing out. We couldn't really get shows in the area, and that was the thing. So we started like playing out, and then I got the taste of what it was like to like not make any money and come back broke and ask your parents for money and this and that, from spending your summer, playing in front of, a lot of people or no people, and driving like 10 hours to get to a show. It was, I wouldn't change anything about it. It was awesome. I, definitely, it was definitely, it was great it's the same thing as like when you started playing music. It was definitely great. Oh, I can do this. I don't need a booking agent. I don't need a record label. And that was like the magic behind it. Like, we were able to do it and play in front of a bunch of people. I mean, it's so different now. I feel like everybody's on their phone. No one goes to shows. But back then, that was the hang.
Well, I think too, with younger bands coming up with music being so like accessible, and it's so easy to get music out there and send it to people and listen to. I still think what makes people, continue to make music and is that doing some DIY tours, coming back broke, seeing what it's like to find a new fan, and things like I just don't think the younger generation, and this is just two old guys now just fucking probably being curmudgeons, but like the work ethic of, I'm trying to teach younger kids that come to shows at my store and then come to listen to music that are in bands and want to, and I'm like, you really have to treat your band like it's a brand. Like, everyone, like it's a job. Everyone in the band should have a job. One person should be doing the booking. One person should be, running the finances. One person should be figuring out the merch. One person, like this, if you treat it that way and you take ownership of what you're doing, you'll realize like that hard work will pay off, whether it's going out, doing the grind of finding places to book, like you saying, like you couldn't find places locally to play, like so you go out further, and then you can find new people that are going to like your music, that are going to like you as a person when you talk to them after a show. Like it's things like that that I think have got lost because they just want to put it out and be an instant hit, and it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And I tell anybody that's like younger, like, and I tell everybody who's like, where your situation is like, you have like a pretty easy situation, like you're maybe in college or early 20s and you're still living with your parents. Like, why wouldn't you go and tour? If you're not doing anything, like, and you have this band that you're really into, why wouldn't you go and go see whatever you can see that's outside of your hometown? I mean, it's definitely, there's a lot of value in that, you know?
Yeah, it's experiences. Like you learn something new. You learn, oh wow, I can sleep, in the back of a car. I can,
Yeah.
oh wow, I can eat a hot dog from fucking 7-Eleven to fill my stomach for the day. Like it's the little tiny little life lessons at a younger age that'll carry you when you're older. And I see these kids that, hey man, I'm in a band and here's my CD. Will you carry it in your store? And I'm just like, no, I'll listen to it. I go, and then I'll let you know if I'm going to carry it. I'm like, but you just don't hand it out and think I'm going to buy 10 copies from you. It doesn't work that way, guys.
Yeah.
Like you need to go out, get a following. I got to have someone else come in here and ask me about your band. Like that's how it works. Like that's that's how it really works.
Totally. That's great. And and the thing is, like, a lot of kids, like, I think, it's like so many bands that just get like, they'll have like this massive presence on like the streaming, but like they still, it's like still very different to like get like 20 people to one local show. They could have like 50,000 monthly listeners, but you still can't draw 20 people. And it's just, I find that very weird.
Yeah. And there's that, I've had kids come in and be like, oh, I have almost 1 million followers on Instagram with my band. And then I'll be like, all right. And then I do the true test and I pull up, I'm like, I got almost 1 million followers. I go, that's awesome. But you have 922 monthly listeners on fucking Spotify. So there's something wrong here, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like let's slow down, go out, fucking play some shows.
Yeah. I think every band like has to do that. Like, there's no way around it. And you should want to do it. It's fun.
Yeah, it's great. And I love it. Like I think you can't tell what a band is until you see them live.
100%.
So, that's the big thing. That's why I built a fucking record store with a venue in it, so I can see the artists and the bands that maybe I've never seen before that come through and be like, yeah, okay, that's awesome. Like that. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I'm super excited to come check out your place next month.
Yeah, it's I love so if people don't know, pop up real quick. We had planned this a while back, Will and I, and it didn't happen for various reasons. And now he's here, and then comes on. It's like, oh yeah, I'm opening for your friend at my store that I didn't even know about. So this is how things work in life. But small world, as I say, small world, big hearts always find each other. So.
Yeah. So, what bands would you say that you were in bands in Jersey?
I was in one band in Jersey and another band in Georgia.
In Georgia?
Yeah.
Oh, what were they called?
One Each and Her Brilliant Transfer.
Cool. Like Atlanta, Georgia? That area?
No, Savannah.
Savannah?
Yeah. So I was mostly punk and emo. That was
cool. That's awesome.
One Each was punk. Her Brilliant Transfer was definitely like the early emo stuff sounding.
Yeah, like that. Like the Emo Diaries kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
I loved all those bands. There was that really great band from Jersey, Penfold.
Yeah. Yeah. They're playing.
I bought them at a distro at a Paul show.
Nice. Yeah. They're playing Best Friends Forever Fest this year.
Really? They're on that?
They were.
I would love to go to that. I can't, but I would.
They were the last. The last two announcements were Jimmy Eat World and Penfold.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that festival this year is. It's kind of one of those festivals where when festivals started coming back after the pandemic, and I went to Furnace Fest, and I was like, it was missing like one band for me to see, and I would have been okay with the plane going down on my way home. Mm-hmm. And this year's Best Friends Forever Fest, which I said after last year's Best Friends Forever Fest, I was like, I can't do festivals anymore. Like, I'm just at that point where, like, give me a 1-day festival, I'll be good. But like the 3-day thing, and then of course the lineup comes out, and I'm like, yeah, this is probably the one where if the plane goes down, I'll be fine. So
Yeah, I'm the same way. I stay the least amount of time until I can go home. Like I was at punk rock bowling and I played and left the next day. It just I know the hanging out and the heat just too much for me.
yeah, it's one of those things. It's just like, yeah, I realize every day I do get older and I am becoming that. I'm like, man, I just want some air conditioning, some water, and like, yeah, I'd love to watch this music, but I can't do it right now. I need a break.
I agree.
Now, I'm going to ask you one of my favorite questions on the show, and it's about Neckscars, and it's, if no one ever heard your music before and you just meet this person randomly and they say, play me a song of yours that best describes your band, and it's got to be released at this moment. Play me a song of yours. What song of yours would you play for them?
We have a song on Don't Panic called Not Enough JPMs. And I think that was like the vibe of the band. That's where we want when we initially started, and we still kind of go back to that song a bunch when we when it all starts. You know, like when you start writing, when the band started co-writing really together. The one thing I was a little not weird. I was a little nervous about was like, all right, is this going to be like a really weird thing? And then towards it, I was like, I kind of like weird. You know, and then I was like, oh, but it all kind of flows back. It all like kind of gels together in some way. You know, it's definitely very much our sound. So I think that's like, that song is definitely like, it's like a bit of a ripper song. It's a shorter one. It kind of moves, and it still has like a bit of the punk like vibe, but it's also got like that, we all grew up on that like 90s post hardcore, like the Rev stuff, like, yeah. The Far Side and the Quicksand and Orange 9mm. So I feel like that song sits well with how I see the band.
Now, would you say that's your favorite song you've released to date?
No. I'm really proud of Dancing in the Stars, but we have a couple other singles. We have a couple other singles coming out in the next couple of weeks. We have the song Man or Mooch that I really like. I think that's probably my favorite song on the record. And then we we were on this Sell the Heart Records Fest comp, the first one Andy did, and we wrote this song called Ray of Pain. And the song just never, I don't know, for some reason we just never really gelled with it live. We didn't really like the way it was mixed. I mean, John does a great job, but like we didn't really have much of direction. It's like a fast punk song. So we rewrote the song and made it a country song. And we have like a pedal steel player on it, and we changed the name. It's called The Song You Used to Know. And I feel like that's something I'm really proud of, and I'm really excited for that to come out on the whole run. The record comes out August 1st. So, and it was definitely, we kind of fell more into the drive-by truckers Lucero kind of sound that I've been trying to morph this band into since day one. It never really works out. I'm in a band with skate punks. But ultimately, I think if we ended up doing that all the time, that would be cool with me too. That's 50.
That's the thing too. Like, I guess it's because of, I mean, with the similarities we have, like hearing you say certain bands, where every time people say certain bands, like I cringe, because it's just like, I know so many people don't know who they are. Like a Lucero and a Drive-By Truckers, and like there's so many people that have no fucking idea who those bands are, and it's like they've been great for so long. Like it's kind of why, it's literally why I started this. Like, and you know, I had Ben Nichols on, one of the first guests on here, and like being able to like be like, dude, more people need to fucking know who you are. Like, we got to do this. We got to get this out here, and it's so crazy to me when I'm like, even talk to people like in their early 40s, like, oh dude, did you hear this? They're like, no. I'm like, how the fuck how do you not know this band, especially by now?
Yeah, Lucero, like they're like a headline band. Like they like come to New York and they'll play 2 nights at like the Williamsburg Music Hall. At least one of them will sell out. And
yeah,
I mean they're like, but they're like a headline similar with the Drive-By Truckers. They just do really well on their own. They always have cool support out with them. And Drive-By Truckers been a band for over 30 years. I mean, even like the fact that like how massive Jason Isbell has gotten, it's like you would think people would,
you would think,
know the Drive-By Truckers, but that was definitely like I definitely like bands like, I guess I'm not like, I grew up in the Bronx, so I'm by no means like a country dude. But like the punk country stuff, I remember in college radio, like my friend, we were all big Descendants fans, but he turned me on to Drag the River.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like dudes from like all
Snodgrass and Chad Price. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was
Armchair Martian and fucking all. Like, I mean, I mean, do you remember? So Drag the River, I mean, but back in the 90s, you had Chuck Reagan doing Rumble Seat.
Yep. I have those 7 inches. Like,
yeah, so do I. Yeah. Like, and that was kind of like, and I explained to younger kids too, especially when it comes to country. I'm like, country was the like real outlaw country was the first punk rock music. Like, it was against the establishment. It was against the norm. Like, so that's why there is this whole like punk feel that guys always go to try to do, like this. And I don't want to say country, like this Americana rock to it, of like still fuck the establishment and stuff like that. But they do move towards that. Like Armchair Martian is one of the greatest fucking bands ever. And then Snodgrass, like doing the Drag the River, the Scorpios, all this other stuff. Like, it's so awesome to watch these guys go from one thing to the next and it still be fucking great.
I agree 100%. I loved, so Joey Cape had I think it was My Records, and he was putting out Armchair Martian stuff, and that's how I heard. And I used to actually call John up when I was like 20, worked at like Rocks Off Records in Fort Collins, and he was really cool. I bought some CDs from him, and he sent me like a shirt and a sticker, and along with it for free. And I always thought that was like, I mean, those sort of like being appreciative to someone calling you up to buy your music and throwing them a little extra. So I always thought that was the coolest thing. And when it happens, people still do it now. And it's really cool. Like Andy from Cellar will send me like a cool 7-inch. When I always try to buy from the label and pick up, I love a lot of most of the artists he put out. So it's like when I get something cool that I didn't even know existed because he has a big catalog, I'm pretty amped on it.
Yeah, it was that Craig Cirinelli went over there to the UK and came back with like just this awesome, just prize box of stuff for me of just like, here's all these records. You got to listen to them all. You can keep them or do whatever you want with them, but these are all for you. And it's like Christmas for me. It's like, oh, great. And I found like bands that I hadn't heard of, and a bunch of them have just recently been on because I was like, holy shit, these guys are fucking awesome. You got to come on the show and get your music out there. And that's the thing too. Like, I love when people come in the store and like, I have a bunch of stuff. I'm like, here you go. Like, I have old boxes, like crates full of stuff of other bands and everything. I still have like, 37 inches from bands. And I'm just like, hey, check this out when you go home. Like, just take it with you. It's free. Keep it or give it to another friend if you don't like it. But here you go.
That's awesome. Yeah. I still love that there are people like you and other people out there doing this physical music thing. Like, I feel when someone tells me they don't see the point of getting vinyl, I'm like, what are you talking about? I have 2,000 records.
Yeah.
But they come in the mail each week. Or I love going to record store. That's something I need to do more. I feel like is just go to record stores. I always try to, whenever I see one, I always try to pop in, but I
love finding things in the wild. That's like, like I tell people, I don't hunt, but I do hunt for records. Like I love finding something that I've never seen before in the wild, and it's in my hands. And if I've never seen it before, it's coming home with me. Like, that's just how it works.
Yeah. It's definitely definitely a great habit of mine that I have. I call it a habit because I buy records all the time. It's like, I can't wait to go to your store.
There's a lot of worse habits to have too, right? And that's what I explained to my wife. She's like, you have so many records. I go, I could be doing cocaine, right? Like there's so many worse fucking things I could be doing if there's the fact that I have tons of music, physical media around. If that's the biggest thing you're going to complain about, then it's pretty good. Like, I'm doing pretty good. So earlier on, I had mentioned like my 1 and 2 bands, and I look at it as bands that never let me down, and it's Face to Face and the Posies for me. Like, do you have like 1 or 2 bands in your life that you constantly turn to that just never let you down, that are always going to be up there for you?
Yeah, I have. I'll be honest with you. I really love. Hot Water Music is always like a big fan. I was always a big fan of the band, and I lost a little interest in the last couple of years, but I always turn them on. They're always great. Whenever, and especially like most of the records, and the new record they put out rules.
It's fucking great.
It's so good. Descendants can never let me down. Never. Probably one of my favorite bands I've ever seen live. Face to Face. I don't know if they'll ever put out another record, but and Bad Religion. Bad Religion, like, is just, I don't know, they're so good.
Yeah,
great songwriting.
You want to talk about the OG DIY guys? Like, that's like the band that can still maintain, sell out places, and did it on their own. Like, that's Bad Religion. Like, read Greg's book, like that, like just that, and the Epitaph book. Like, there's so many bands that made it on their own and created their own thing, which is what I love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're and like they're just their records. It's just the songs are just hook after hook as they get older. I mean, definitely, it's as you have you been a band all those years, you have like a bit of a formula, but it just the message is still there. Greg Graffin still sounds amazing.
Yeah, it still sounds fucking great.
Yeah,
it's crazy how good.
One of the best singers in the biz, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, he's never really missed with a vocal anywhere. Anytime I've seen him, I've probably seen him like 20 times. I've never seen him miss and fucking know it. And I'm like, that's insane to me.
Where was the first time you saw them?
First time I saw him was Roseland Ballroom.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, that was the Seaweed, Green Day, Bad Religion show. That was the first time I saw him.
Seaweed, wow. I'm actually me, Andy, Joseph Grillo from Her Head's on Fire Garrison, and Jeff Dean, we're doing a Seaweed tribute at Fest.
Nice.
So I'm pretty amped on it because Seaweed rules. They're definitely probably one of the most underrated sub pop bands.
Well, yeah, I mean I think they just, and it happens to a lot of bands. They came out at the wrong time.
Bad timing. Yep.
It was just horrible timing because of the grunge era like popped off, and they popped off at the same time, like, and we're on a label that was not thought of that way.
Yeah. And they were definitely on, like, you hear it's definitely more punk rock.
Yeah.
Than like what I guess some of the other bands on Sub Pop are doing at the time. So I definitely like, maybe this is not grabbing me at like the way, like, you know, Mudhoney might be grabbing you.
Yeah, it was definitely it was definitely bad timing. And it's age old story. There's tons of bands we can go down of bad timing. I mean, the whole fucking first wave of fucking emo, bad timing.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get into some somber notes here. So we're towards the end of the episode. I like to bring it down a little bit. I start with do you remember the last song you cried to? And you can share your feelings here. We're like
all right, so this is I was living up in Beacon with Justin before I got married, and it was like a Wednesday night. He had the day off, and I got home from work, and we got pretty wrecked. And I woke up, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta go to work, and I work 45 minutes away, and Jason Isbell Elephant came on, and I'm driving on the Taconic Parkway down to Westchester, and I just started like, maybe I was like a little hungover, but I was listening to these lyrics, and I'm like, oh, this song is about cancer, and I'm just like, oh my god, and I'm just like, I just started crying, and it just hit me really close to like home in the car, and I got to work, and I got back, and I'm like, yeah, was everything all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm just a little hungover.
my eyes are puffy from the booze and coke. Like,
sorry, my dogs are they don't like the landscapers.
It's all good. Mine will probably be here soon too, and my dog will go nuts as well. All right. You got 5 minutes left to live. Meteors hurling into the earth, and you have to listen to one song and one song only. What are you listening to?
I'm going down Bruce Springsteen.
Wow. Okay, that's a first here. Nice. All right.
5 minutes to live. I want to go out partying.
All right, another horrible situation. And we preface this: everyone gets out alive. All living creatures get out alive. Your house is burning to the ground. Wherever you live, burning to the ground. Everyone out. Everyone you love. All your pets, animals, goldfish. Everything makes it out safely. You have a minute to run back in and grab one musical thing that means the most to you. What's the one musical item you're grabbing?
I have a Sunburst Gibson Les Paul my wife got me, so that would probably be the guitar I had to take. It would kill me to leave the J45 acoustic, but that'd be it, because I wanted to buy this guitar, and I went to go buy it, and it was gone because she purchased it for me for my birthday. So that's my number one guitar, and it's just a standard Gibson / Sunburst Les Paul, and I try to play it all the time. I just don't really take it out when I'm traveling too much in case it breaks or gets stolen. But that has probably the most sentimental value.
Mm-hmm. All right, and we'll bring it back up a tiny bit here. What is there an artist or a band that you listen to that after all the bands that we talked about today, people would be really surprised you get tons of enjoyment out of listening to this artist or band?
Would be really surprised? Well, that's a good question. Daft Punk.
Okay. Yeah,
and you know what? I'll back it up with another one that and I do love this band, and a lot of people give me shit for it. Coldplay. I love Coldplay.
Listen, their first 3 fucking records are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
They had a 3-record run where they could do no wrong. So yeah. I'm with you there. But
sorry, come on, guys. Let's go. Sorry,
you're fine. We're coming to the end anyway. But before we move on to our weekly 3 segment, which is 3 things that you're listening to that you want to share with people, I'll give you this opportunity right now to tell everybody how to follow what you're doing, keep up with what you're doing, how to purchase merch, all that kind of shit. So tell all your handles. So now is your opportunity to do that.
So you can find Neckscars on Instagram at Neckscars. Any merch that you want to buy, you can get at our Bandcamp, neckscars.bandcamp.com. And I would check out Sell the Heart Records, Engineer Records, Sell the Heart at bigcartel.com. And that's where you can pre-order Unhinged, which comes out August 1st. And we have a new single coming out on Friday. That's my dog, Arlo. He gets stressed out by the landscapers, but yeah, that's that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are on to our weekly 3 segment. It's 3 things you're listening to that you would like people to check out. You give 3, then I give my 3.
3 things that I'm listening to right now. All right, just pull this up right now. I do apologize about the dog. Can't take them anywhere. I think our buds in Tired Radio are dropping a new record, and they have a new single called "Your Great Escape." I definitely have. I've been really into this band called Birdhold City. It's like a hardcore band from L.A. I think Andrew from Strife. It's his other band. Really great band, and new Turnstile rules.
Yeah, I'm done with that album already. We had the Turnstile listening party at the store, and played it from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and I'm
you're fried.
I've had enough.
Yeah, definitely. But there's so many.
It's a great album, but I'm like, I'm good for 6 to 8 months of not hearing another.
But I definitely listen to. I really like that Birdhole City Records. Really, out of like newer hardcore stuff, it's really cool. It's definitely got like the straight edge vibe thing going on, but it's heavy, so it's cool.
I'm definitely gonna check that out when we're done here today.
And another band that's like kind of like a weird. You ever heard of that? They're on Closed Casket. They're called Skinhead.
No,
they're it's like really yelly vocals, but they kind of sound like Iron Chic.
Okay,
totally
Iron Chic.
Yeah, it's like they just kind of popped up out of nowhere, but we've been digging their record. It's really fun.
I'll check that out too. Nice, good 4. All right, my 3 for this week. First one is a band called Casador. That's with a K, Kasador. They have an album called Youth. It's like Canadian rock and roll, I guess I would say. Mm-hmm. Next is a band called Candid, Candid. They're from the early 2000s. Please do not get them mistaken with there's a new band called Candid, but it's from the early 2000s. It's definitely indie-ish, rockish. The name of the album is Misinterpreter. Just something that I found along the way. And yeah, 3 albums. I think it was like 2001, 2003, 2005, and then they were gone. But Candid. And last but not least is a band called Long Island. The name of the album is The Freedom of Being Young. And yep, Long Island. They're from the UK. So it's not from here, but it's British. I call it British pop rock, maybe, like just because it's just got great pop sensibilities, great female vocal lead. Kind of the vocals kind of remind me a little bit of Pogo sounding vocalists, but yeah, those are my 3 for this week.
That's awesome. You have those at the store?
So there's only one left at the store, and that's the Casador album. But those are
that's awesome. I definitely I popped them into my Spotify, as you were saying. I'm gonna check them out.
Well, Will, thank you so much. I mean, it's weird how we're got all this stuff actually going on together. Prior to me originally reaching out months and months ago, but I mean, the reason why I reached out was because of your music, and without that, I mean, I'd have less in my life. So it's a huge heartfelt thank you for the music you created that made me find you
so much
and want to talk to you. Like there's so much good music out there that I'm trying to do the best I can to get it out to everybody, but I want you to know that your creations aren't lost. Sometimes that
means so much, and thank you for having me. This is awesome. I'm glad I could not let you down this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
sorry,
good.
Sorry it was at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, but thanks for making it work for me. My schedule's a little crazy lately with work and whatever.
That's all right. Listen, I've done them at 6 a.m. I've done them at 12 at night. Like I interviewing people in like New Zealand and shit. Like it's always been, so I usually figure out how to work around people's schedules, especially if I want to talk to you. If I didn't want to talk to you, I wouldn't have responded, but but everybody out there in the world, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Neckscars, and have a great fucking time.
Thank you, Shane. Have a good day.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions to myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.